Here are three stories about a man called Reb Shmuel Munkes. Reb Shmuel Munkes was a follower of the first Rebbe of Chabad, of the first Rebbe of Chabad. And he was a tremendous scholar, and etc. But he was also very lively, and he had a good sense of humor. And he would use his humor whenever possible. So there's one story, for instance, that the Alter Rebbe came to his synagogue or to the office, and there was Shmuel Munkes was hanging. So I heard that he was hanging upside down. I don't know. Anyways, he was hanging there. So he said, "What are you doing that for? What are you holding on to this bar, to the window, to the rim of the door or something?" He was hanging there. So what are you doing that for? He said, "Well, I was walking down the street, and there's a shoe store, and the shoe store has this big picture of a shoe hanging. There's a big pole, and a shoe was hanging over. Then there was a fish store. The fish store has a big cutout wood thing of a fish. So the Rebbe, what you produce is Chassidim. So I figured I'll hang a Chassid over your door." Hang a Chassid over your door. Story number one. Story number two. In the beginning, when the Shmuel Munkes decided that he wanted to come to learn from the Rebbe, first Rebbe of Chabad, so he traveled and he came there in the nighttime. And he was knocking on the door, and the Rebbe said to go away. He said, "I'm not going away. I want to learn." He says, "Go away. I want to come tomorrow." He says, "No, it's desperate. I want to learn." He said, "If you don't, I have a Ukrainian servant, a Ukrainian." He says, "I'll call my Ukrainian, and he'll beat you up. I'll call my goy, and he'll beat you up, he'll kick you out. He's my servant." And Shmuel Munkes said, "My Ukrainian, in other words, my goy inside of me is bigger than the goy that you have here. In other words, my impulses and my animal nature is stronger, than the animal that you have in your house that's going to kick me out. My goy is stronger than your goy." That's what he said. Story number three. The first Rebbe of Chabad was slandered by his enemies, libeled and slandered by his enemies, other religious Jews, but they felt that the first Rebbe of Chabad, the whole Chassidic movement, was going to destroy Judaism. So it could have been that their motivations were good, but in any case, they forged papers, they gave it to the Tsar, and the Tsar sent soldiers to have him arrested. So the Rebbe ran away. He ran away. The soldiers, it's a commandment. It's shomer nafshatechem. You have to protect yourself. You're not allowed to. In jail, it was almost sure death. They could kill a person, no problem. So he ran and he hid. I read one place that he hid in a graveyard. In any case, it happened to be that the Shmuel Munkes was there. He saw him from afar. He saw him leave. I don't know what it was, but nevertheless, he was there. So he said, "What are you doing?" So he said, "They've come to arrest me. I'm running away." The first Rebbe of Chabad. So he said, "Doesn't make any sense." Says, "In any case, you have to let yourself be arrested." So if you're really a Rebbe, if you're really a representative of God in the world, there's nothing that's going to happen to you. God won't. And if you're not a Rebbe, so you deserve any punishment that they give you because you wrecked up this physical world for so many people. What does it mean he wrecked up this world for so many people? Rabbi Shmuel Munkes, what did he want to do? He wanted to, if there wasn't the Rebbe, he would, go to the movies or something, he would go do sins. What would he do? Right? He was a religious Jew. Right? The Rebbe was preventing him from doing sins. What does it mean he wrecked up the world? So the answer is that the Rebbe made it obvious to everyone how close God is, how good God is, how much we owe God, and how little we're repaying him. No matter who you are. So you can never say, I did a commandment. I'm a big tzaddik. I know the Torah. No matter what you know, no matter what you've done, it's always so little of the debt that you have to God that you can never really pride yourself from it. So Rabbi Shmuel Munkes, that his whole pleasure was serving the creator of the universe. And it is a big pleasure to serve the universe, creator of the universe, but to say, I've done it, I did it, right? That pleasure is always overcome by the Rebbe's reminding, yes, you did a good thing, but it's only 1/100% of what God empowered you to do, what you should do. So you wrecked up the pleasure of this world for so many people. And the fourth story I'll tell you, I think I've told this story also before, that once there was a big Farbringen, and the Hasidim was sitting, Shmuel Munkes was one of them, and they were drinking vodka and talking about God and bringing sentences and telling stories, miracles, and they ran out of something to eat. And drinking vodka is very, very sharp, and it's not good to drink and not to eat something afterwards. So they wanted something. So they pooled their money together, and they bought, I read somewhere it was a liver, somebody else said it was a lung. Anyways, they bought something from, they woke up the butcher, another religious Jew, and they woke him up in the middle of the night, gave him the money. His wife cooked the liver, and they brought the liver. The Chassid was there, paid the money, but brought the liver back. As soon as he brought it in, they put it on the table, and now they're going to resume their Farbringen again. It was 2 in the night, 2 in the morning, whatever. And this Shmuel Munkes looked at the liver, lifted up the plate, started running around the room with it. Everyone was screaming at him, put the thing down. What are you doing? You're crazy. And he threw it out the window into the garbage. And they were very angry at him. And suddenly someone broke into the room. It was the butcher and said, don't eat the liver. The cow that it was taken from is not kosher. And we mixed the liver up and we didn't know. So now they're angry at him again. They say, what are you trying to be, like a big Rebbe or something, a big spiritual? You should have said, listen, 1 second, fellas, I have a doubt about this liver. Do me a favor. Let me just check this thing out. So we would have waited. All of a sudden, you have to pick it up like some sort of, a mystical thing that nobody can understand, what you're doing, and they're throwing it out the window. What type of action is this? He said, listen, my friends, don't be angry at me. When I went into the Rebbe, the Rebbe gave me advice. And he told me, he answered a lot of questions I had. And he said, remember, anything that you have a tremendous desire for, don't do. So when that liver came into the room, I had such a desire to eat the liver. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had such a desire for anything in my life. I just really wanted that liver. I knew that if I took a little bit, it would take away my hunger, I had the tremendous pleasure, therefore I threw it out the window. So it shows that sometimes a chassid can, by taking the advice of what the Rebbe is, he can save himself and a lot of people from a lot of trouble. Have a good day with Mashiach now.
See you tomorrow.
See you all. I hope I stopped.